Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome to my Monarch deck profile for the December 2021 format. This deck quite recently got a really good support card, and it's also a really fun budget deck that can steal some games by stunning your opponent and locking them out of their extra deck by using Domain. As you can see, this deck doesn't play an extra deck. I think this is by far the best version of Monarchs, and this version can also play the really powerful new support card. If you guys would like to see more deck profiles like this, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and tell me down in the comments what decks you guys would like to see on the channel, and let's get started. For the big Monarch monsters, I play Triple Ether, the Heavenly Monarch. All of the big Monarchs have this effect where you can tribute summon them by tributing one tribute summoned monster. This card has two really powerful effects. When it's tribute summoned, you can send two Monarch spell or traps from the deck to the graveyard and special summon a monster with 24 or 2800 attack directly from the deck, but it's returned to the hand during the end phase of the turn. So that's really good for setting up your graveyard. And once during the opponent's turn, you can banish a Monarch spell or trap from the graveyard and tribute summon this card. This is really good in combination with Stormforth, because you can get rid of their monsters. And then I also play Triple Erebus. When this card's tribute summoned, you can send two Monarch spell or traps from the deck to the graveyard, and then non-targeting shuffle a card from your opponent's hand, field or graveyard back into their deck. This card's really good removal. It's good going second to out problematic cards. It's really good going first to rip a card out of their hand, and it's also great for setting up your graveyard just like Ether. And the last big Monarch I play in the deck is one Caius, the Mega Monarch. When this card's tribute summoned, you can banish a card on your opponent's field, and if you banish a dark monster with this, it banishes all copies of it from anywhere. And if you tribute a dark monster to summon this, you can banish two cards instead. Then I play one Kuras, the Light Monarch. When this card's normal or special summoned, you can destroy two cards on the field, and then the controller of those cards draws that many cards. This is the best card to summon of Ether, because it triggers on special summon. You can pop your own cards to give you draws, or pop your opponent's cards if you need to out something. And with Ether's second effect, you can summon this on the opponent's turn, because you tribute summon Ether, and then Ether special summons this from the deck. Then I play double Vanity's Fiend and one Majesty's Fiend. Both of these cards are really powerful for locking your opponent out of the game. When Vanity's Fiend's on the field, neither player can special summon, and when Vanity's Fiend's on the field, neither player can activate monster effects. The reason why I only play one Vanity's Fiend is because it's searchable, because this card actually has 2400 attack, so you can search this with Monarch's Return. For the cards that give you Tribute Fodder, I play Triple Idea. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one of these guys from the deck, and when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a banished Monarch spell or trap back to your hand. Then I played Double Eidos. When this card is normal or special summoned, you get an extra tribute summon this turn. So most of the time you want to normal summon your Idea, and then she will special summon out the Eidos, and then Eidos activates, giving you an extra tribute summon, and then you can tribute them for one of your big Monarchs. Eidos also has a really good second effect, where if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and special summon back Idea. This is really good for the grind game, because Idea also triggers on special summon. And then I also play one Mithra. This card is really nice. You can special summon it from the hand by giving your opponent a token, and if it's used for a tribute summon, you get an extra tribute summon this turn. Then I played 3 copies of this new card. This card basically fixes the main problem of the deck, which is consistency, and also gives you tribute fodder. So basically what this card does, you can put it in a pendulum scale, and then if you have no extra deck, you can just throw it and draw a card. So basically just a free upstart goblin. And when it's in your extra deck, and there are no other cards in the extra deck besides this card, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So this card is always going to be a +1. You draw a card, and then you can special summon this. That's it for the monsters. And then for the spells, I played Triple Pantheism. This is the best card in the deck. Only the second effect is once per turn. With the first effect, you can send a Monarch spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard and draw 2 cards, and that's not once per turn. So if you draw a second Pantheism, you can use it again. And if you add it back with Idea, you can use it again. With the second effect, you can banish it from the graveyard, and then show 3 Monarch spell or traps to your opponent from the deck, and then they pick one to add to your hand, and the other ones go back to the deck. You can reveal 3 copies of the same card, and then you are guaranteed to get it. This card is also a +1. I'm really happy this is at 3, because the deck is now way more consistent. Then I play Triple Tenacity. You can reveal a monster with 2400 or 2800 attack in your hand, and then add a Monarch spell or trap from your deck to your hand. This card searches everything, and it's also the best target to reveal of your Pantheism. You basically just get a free Monarch spell in your graveyard, which is great for something like Prime, and you get to search the card you want. Next card is Triple Domain. This card is really powerful. If you have no extra deck and only you control a tribute summoned monster, your opponent can special summon from the extra deck. So if you go first and set up Domain, most decks just cannot play if they don't have an out to Domain. It also has a really neat attack boost effect. When your tribute summoned monster attacks, it gains 600 attack, and once per turn you can reveal a big Monarch in your hand and reduce its level by 2. So that basically makes the big Monarchs only need 1 tribute, which also comes up a lot. Next, Triple Stormforth. This card outs everything. It's really good for outing Dragoon. It's basically a quick play spell that allows you to tribute one opponent's monster this turn for your tribute summons. This is also really good to use on the opponent's turn if you have Ether in hand, because you can then follow it up by banishing the Stormforth in the graveyard and tribute summoning the Ether using the opponent's monster and something you have. This card is just amazing. You want to see this every single time going second. Next, Double Return. It's a continuous spell that lets you add a 2400 2500 or 2800 attack monster from your deck to your hand every time you tribute summon, and it's once per turn. This is really good for searching Ether for your opponent's turn, and also on the opponent's turn when you then tribute summon the Aether, this can search your follow-up. Then I play one Rhoda. This is just for searching Idea. Idea is a warrior. Then one Call by the Grave. Hand traps hurt this deck a lot, especially if they hand trap your Idea, because then you've wasted your normal summon. I think that is the biggest weakness of the deck. Sadly, you cannot play Crossout in the deck because it kills the consistency. Since you have to play a lot of hand traps and triple Crossout, there's just no space for that. That's it for the spells. For the traps, I play triple Prime Monarch. This is also one of the best cards in the deck. I don't really understand why people play two of this. This card is really good to draw, it's really good to get in the graveyard. You pretty much want to have one on the field and one in the graveyard at all times. When it's on the field, you can once per turn shuffle back 2 Monarch spell or traps from your graveyard back into the deck and draw a card. So you can do this on your opponent's turn and on your turn. So this just constantly recycles your resources and gives you draws. And when it's in the graveyard, you can as quick effect banish a Monarch spell or trap and special summon this back as a monster, which is also good for tribute fodder. This card also helps you set up Ether on the opponent's turn. And the last card in the main deck is one Monarch Erupt. This card is basically a searchable skill drain. If you control a tribute summoned monster, all monsters on the field have their effects negated except tribute summoned monsters, and at the end of your turn, if you don't have a tribute summoned monster on the field, this card dies. This card is very powerful, but I think there's no space to play more than one. That is it for the main deck. It's 40 cards and there is no extra deck. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below if you guys would change anything about the deck. Have a great day and I will see you next time.